So, very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I know I'm the last speaker for the day, and hopefully, my talk will keep you engaged. I will not engage in any theatrics. I will not make you run, jump, talk loudly, etc. But hopefully, my content will keep you engaged. I'm here to talk about a subject which I am very passionate about, and that's also been one of the purpose where I had to take a major decision in life, leaving a highly paid corporate job and enter into a relatively more insecure field of starting my own practice. Leaving a compensation, a salary package which was about 10 years back, was paying me almost 15 lakh rupees a month. And that was a long time back. And to charter and to enter into uncharted waters, what was that decision which really led me to go through this journey? So I'm here to talk about two things. One is potential, second is aspirations, and how do we get the two together? How do we find the right marriage between the two? So, first, let me talk about what potential is. I'll put it in simplistic terms, not in core technical terms. Potential is the inherent capability which is present in all of us, which probably at this point of time is underdeveloped. How many of us believe we have potential? All of us have potential. Every person sitting in this room has potential. Let's talk about aspiration. The next word, aspirations. Aspirations are nothing but dreams. Dreams to achieve something big, something great in life. How many of us have aspirations? Okay, great. So all of us have some dreams. Now when the potential and aspirations come together, that helps us create success. Now to create the success, what is that magic formula? That magic formula is something which is very, very simple. It's about aligning four things put together. Those four things are: one, purpose. Why do I want to achieve those dreams? What is my intent of achieving those dreams? Second, am I passionate enough? Am I working only for money, for a good paycheck which drives me, or am I going beyond money? Third, skills. What are the capabilities I need to develop? Only purpose and passion are not sufficient. One needs to have skills. And skills are developed regularly and consistently. And the last is resilience. Not giving up despite odds. Success does not come in a platter. Even those, the fortunate few, who are born with a silver spoon or a golden spoon, today's lives and times are so competitive. To sustain that, it is not easy. We've seen a lot of industrial houses, large businesses, I don't want to take names here, but a lot of them collapsing over a period of time. The second generation, third generation, we don't want to be there. It's not that they didn't have purpose, they didn't have aspirations, but they didn't keep up with the skills. Maybe they did not invest in the right strategy, and at the same time, they did not demonstrate resilience when they needed to. I'll talk about what comes in our way of making our potential and aspirations into success. So one key thing which comes in our way is not being self-aware. When we talk about self-awareness, it is clearly understanding our strengths, understanding our limitations, being open to feedback, and being open to constructive criticism. I'll use the word constructive criticism. When I talk about constructive criticism or constructive feedback, it has to come from a subject matter expert and somebody who's truly interested in your well-being, not somebody who has a hidden agenda. Then the next thing which comes in our way is our unconscious biases or limiting self-beliefs that I cannot take calculated risks, or I cannot understand money-related matters well, or I cannot work hard. These are all self-limiting beliefs, and some of them are ingrained in our unconscious biases. Or maybe, in a lot of cases, compartmentalizing work, that this is what boys do and this is what girls do. We've all seen that, including in the defense forces today. A Rafale fighter pilot is a lady today. And even the Indian Armed Forces are now inducting women into the fighting arms, which wasn't done earlier. Then talking about the third limiting belief, which comes in our way, which is the ability not to work hard. So without hard work, nothing works. Without patience, hard work, and perseverance, nothing works. And that also comes to the fourth important dimension, which I talk about, is resilience. Resilience means not giving up despite adversities, despite difficulties. I'll take the quote from one of my favorite movies, which has been there for a very, very long time. It's the series called the Rocky series, starring Sylvester Stallone. So, this is a movie about an underdog who rises from the rank and becomes a heavyweight boxing champion of the world. And there is a story about Sylvester Stallone, how Sylvester Stallone did not come from a family which was very balanced. He went through very difficult times, even financially, and to the extent he was married, he had his wife who was expecting, and they didn't have a home to sleep in. So they were sleeping in bus stations and bus shelter. He barely had food, and he barely would have had about $20 or $30 left in his pocket. He was feeling very disappointed and very frustrated, and he went there with the last $20-$30 to watch a Muhammad Ali and Chuck Wepner heavyweight boxing title fight. And that inspired him to write this movie Rocky. For 3 straight days, almost non-stop, he wrote the script of this movie. A person who was broke, with an expecting wife, who was about to deliver a child, and with no food to eat. And to the extent he had to sell his dog. For those who have seen this movie Rocky, the dog which you see in Rocky was his dog whom he had to sell and then buy back at more than 10 times the price. So, in a state where he was absolutely broke, down and out, he had a great script which he went to some Hollywood producers, Shartoff Rinkler, and he asked them to buy his script, provided they would allow him to star in the movie. They said, "Your script is great, fantastic. We would like to, buy the script." And they offered him a great amount of money. They offered him $250,000, which 50 years back, you can anticipate what it is worth today. Or you can't even think what it's worth today. So they offered him that kind of money to a person who's broke. Anybody in his position would have grabbed that opportunity at the first hand and taken it. But he didn't. He said, "I will sell this script to you only if you allow me to act in it." They told him, "You're not an established star. Nobody knows you. We want to go for somebody who's a more saleable face, a more saleable figure, like a Robert Redford or somebody else." So he says no. He insisted on it, and then at a fraction of the price, they finally agreed to allow him to star in the movie, and the rest is history. So one of the quote which he says, and which talks about resilience in this movie called Rocky 5, is life is not about how hard you can hit, but it is how hard you hit, how hard you get hit, and you keep getting up and keep getting up. So that's what resilience is all about. I thought this exemplifies resilience. Now, I would also like to share some examples of my personal life, which probably have benefited me and which exemplifies what I've just spoken about. So, having a background in mechanical engineering, I was a very good student till my 12th, did extremely well, which prompted me to take up engineering as a field, as a discipline. Now, during engineering, I realized this is not my passion. This is not something which I am too excited about, but obviously I wanted to complete my education. So completing my education, and this reminds me of this movie. I don't know if you've seen this movie, Three Idiots. That is a more contemporary movie. So I could relate to the character Farhan very well. So clearly engineering was not my passion, but I wanted to see it through. What I did differently from what Farhan did is, I didn't obviously go with a photographer or to a wildlife forest, But I took up my first job in an engineering company on the shop floor. That further cemented my belief that I don't want to spend the rest of my life working with machines. But during that time, I also found a newfound passion that I am very good at working with people. And I'm very good at helping people perform to the best of their abilities. So that ignited a passion in me. That made me go in for my master's in business administration, where I did my MBA specializing in marketing. From doing a job in marketing, uh, I enjoyed that job thoroughly. I worked in this company called Castrol. So I was selling lubricants to truck drivers, to fleet owners, to mechanics, and also OEM engineers in this company, like your Marutis, your Mercedes, Volkswagen, etc. A job which I thoroughly enjoyed. That gave me that thrill, working with people, trying to convince people, trying to influence people. And at the same time, also ensuring that the efforts I put in translate into money. So I was pretty happy with it till the time I met the divisional manager of this FMCG company who was visiting the place where I was stationed. And he offered me a job in human resources. So I was a little taken aback. I said, see, I'm a sales guy. I'm used to my efforts giving me results. In human resources, I will put in efforts, but I may not get to see results. And I'm not sure if I'll get to see the money as well. So at that time, my purpose was a little different. It was more to do with money. But then later on, this was a turning point of life for me, where I took up that job because he clearly gave me an elevated role with a promotion as well as additional responsibilities and of course a little bit of extra money. And I told him I'll take up this job with the assurance that if I don't like human resources as a profession, I will come back to sales and you will help me get a job in the same company in sales. With that assurance, I joined. Interestingly, a year and a half down the line, there was an opening in sales. They offered that to me, but I didn't take it up because that's where I found my true purpose. My purpose was helping people achieve their goals, helping people understand their potential, and helping them achieve their potential. So, with that, I've continued that, and it's been almost close to 4 decades now, almost 40 years. I'm not sure if I look that old, but that is my true age. So, almost for 40 years, I've now been helping people get the best out of themselves and ensure that they reach their goals, whether it is their career goals or their personal goals. Now, from Gillette, I've worked as a CHRO of leading multinational companies like Prudential and Vodafone. And having worked for almost 3 decades, after 30 years in the corporate, I realized that eventually, whilst I am contributing to building corporate capabilities by harnessing the human potential and helping the right people perform to the best abilities, but I was feeling there's something missing. And I found my reach confined only to the corporates I'm working with. So I wanted to go out, expand my remit, and reach out to anybody there who needs me. And that prompted me to start my company. It was a bold decision to take. My family also told, like I mentioned, I was earning almost 15 lakh a month at that point of time. That's about almost 10 years back. So you can imagine what it would have been worth today. But I took the decision where I did not want money to be my driver, but I wanted purpose to be my driver. That is reaching out to people, helping them perform to the best potential. I haven't, by the way, I haven't done too badly in terms of money. I won't talk about how much am I earning today, but not too bad, I would say. Better than what I expected. So this gave me the opportunity to reach out to people across multinational corporations, public sectors. Today I coach executive directors of large public sector undertakings. I also advise and coach business leaders and family-run businesses, mid-sized family-run businesses who are scaling up to the next level. And I also coach individuals to help them make the right career choices. A lot of individuals today need that help. You have people at the start of their career who are not sure, what do I do next in the career? And if they don't get the right guidance at the right time, they will make those mistakes. I don't want them to make those mistakes. The next step happens is at the mid stages, or at the mid career syndrome, as we call it. At the mid level, people start getting stagnated. What do they do next? They aspire to reach the top management, but they are missing somewhere. So, how do you help them achieve their aspirations? And the third part, which we talk about, is senior executives. How do they become CEOs or CXOs? And more importantly, in today's world, how do they stay there? So it's not only reaching a position or a title, but even staying it and keeping those jobs, which is extremely important today. So this is where I come in and pitch in. And what has helped me in this entire model has been aligning purpose, aligning passion, aligning skills. And when I talk about aligning skills, I personally attend at least 1 to 2 courses every year to keep upgrading my skills. The more recent one which I've attended is 1 month back, and this is learning the art of hypnotherapy and past life regression, which people might ask is how is it related to your profession? Not completely related, but I see a lot of issues, especially which have a deep rooted behavioral connect, are either to do with our current life or in certain cases might even have a connotation to our past life. It's about learning that technique, learning something new. So keep investing in learning. Age does not matter. And to reinforce that, I have been a practicing martial artist in my teens, and I used to box in my teens as well. So I have reignited that passion at the age of 55. Of course, I can't compete now because of my age, but the fact is, after the age of 55, I have restarted practicing martial arts. I have restarted practicing boxing. So there is no age to pursue your passion. You can pursue at any stage of your life. It's about continue investing in building your skills and continue investing and be resilient enough to see it through. This also led me to author a book on my experiences. I've authored 2 books, like Madam had introduced earlier. My second book is How Do You Build Your Leadership Skills by Learning Techniques from the Martial Arts. So if I can do it at this age, I'm sure you can pursue any passion which you have. There is no passion is purely a matter of your choice. Your purpose is your choice. Your aspirations are your choice, and there's nothing wrong or right about it. But if you continue investing in building your skills and you are resilient enough to see it through, I think there is nothing which can stop you to achieving success. I'll also talk about life is not only about success. There are times where we also fail. Uh, when I left the corporate world, I had a fairly good amount of savings in at home, so I could afford to take that risks. But I invested a lot of money in a fitness venture which was owned by a friend of mine, and things just went wrong. And all of a sudden, in one fine year, I lost almost 80% of what I had earned in a lifetime. That set me back. And I was worried at that point of time. In this age, had I been younger, I wouldn't have been worried. I would have found ways of bouncing back. But I realized at this age, having lost almost 80% of your earnings, uh, will I be able to recover it back or not? So there I sought the support of my family. My family definitely came a long way, and friends who came a long way. And I also had to take some legal counsel, some professional legal counsel in this case. I had to file a case against this individual, and I managed to get at least 60% of my money back. The balance 40%, I had to work very hard for a period of 3 years in my 50s. And believe me, it's not easy. In my 50s, I have been working for 2 years, 30 days in a month without a break, including a Sunday, and I could barely get 5 hours of sleep. For me, sleep was the best luxury which I had at that point of time, getting an 8 hours of sleep a day, which I didn't get it for almost 2 years. I've survived that. But that helped me recover what financial losses I'd incurred, and I got life back on track. So today I can talk a little bit about work-life balance because that hard work has already gone behind. But what I told you earlier, there is no substitute for hard work and there is no substitute for resilience. What also taught me about this is there is almost everything in life can be overcome. Almost every adversity in life can be overcome provided you are willing to work hard, you are willing to invest in building your skills, and you are resilient enough to see it through. So, whether you are at the early stages of your career, as most of you are, whether you are at the mid stages of your career, or you are at a fairly advanced stage of your career, these guiding principles will hold in good stead and will benefit you tremendously. And with this, I'd like to thank you for your time and patience listening to me. Thank you very much.